So I describe our voice in action as centered in connection, and it's really an opportunity to share and explore our lived experience with like-minded people. Um, I also find it very inspiring and very kind of motivating.
I have never really been exposed to lived experience workshops and mental health workshops, quite like the voices or our voices in action. So it was a very unique experience for me, um, and a very deep, personal, touching workshop. I entered that workshop and exited the workshop as two completely different people. It was just an amazing thing, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely bloody brilliant. If I had limited words, but um, no, I think it is a really eye-opening experience, especially for peer workers who are new to the lived experience world, or just like for people who have lived experience and don't know what to do with it or how to help with it. Like, I don't think it's necessarily for people in the workforce. I think it's great for everyone.
It was fantastic. Um, it's just a way of meeting with people of similar situations to me.
Went into it not really knowing what to expect, but it really gave me a platform to be empowered in a space that I was with really like-minded people who, to some degree, understood and just gave me the capacity to explore my own experience and journey in a very safe way with what I was comfortable sharing, and then try to sort of discern what that looks like for me moving forward. So it was a deeply personal experience for me, and yeah, a lot of meaning behind it, as it's a space that I'm very passionate about and care so much for.
It meant being seen, being recognized and identified. You know, you spend your time in this sector going through all these roles and all these organizations and all these meetings, but it always feels a bit um, disconnected. But when you are able to sit in a room with a people full of similar or same lived experience as you, it really makes you feel like you are being heard and that your experience matters and that there are things being done at the moment to progress your views within the sector, which I thought was really cool.
For me, it was a good learning space to recognize that no, it's okay to be at the beginning stage, to be starting to learn or check in or validate the ways that I do share my story, the whens and the hows, and to, yeah, just to see, well, do I have a role? You know, is there a way that maybe I could use my voice?
Meeting like-minded people who've gone through similar stuff to me, hearing their stories, hearing their experiences, and then bouncing my own story and my experiences off them, which I feel like can be really cathartic.
But for me, it really showed me that there are people who are in the lived experience workforce who are not burnt out health peer workers, or who are not, peer workers who are struggling in NGO settings, that there are people out there in lived experience roles that can do more than just be a lived experience worker. They can be, the facilitator of a training group like that. They can work in a higher level position within a company and use a lived experience. So it showed me that there are more opportunities than just being the frontline lived experience worker.
I think the most valuable thing was just the level of intimacy and vulnerability that everyone shared in that space. It was completely confidential, completely private. It felt like a really safe and welcoming environment. And I think because of that, a lot of the participants, myself included, we went through we went through a roller coaster of emotions in those 2 days, which I didn't really expect. I've never really had that experience any time since that workshop.
Yeah, most valuable part would probably be around my story. I've thought about it a lot, reflected on it, written it, shared it with lots of different groups. But I got an opportunity to zoom in on a few key elements and to view it from a perspective I hadn't really looked at it before, which I think is going to serve me really well in the future when I'm using my story to create positive change.
Thinking about it, I realized just how powerful it was. Everyone being allowed to be themselves in that space. And of course, we were doing that in a moderated way because we're sensitive people. We're people who've been through stuff, and I think we understand not to dump that on one another.
But no, I think the most valuable part of the workshop was the people. It was just the people.
Oh, it was good actually. It was the intimacy because you know with Zoom you don't get that intimacy, but there was that intimacy associated with it. So some people were quieter than others, and but there was still that bonding.
I've had the experience of being in a group or meeting up with people with similar mindsets as yourself or similar backgrounds or experiences. And every time, it's just so natural because you all share an experience that has profoundly impacted your life and is continuing to impact your life. So you're able to relate on matters that you wouldn't even talk to a normal person about, firstly.
It was, for me as a young person and being the youngest person in that group and visibly a young person, all the people that were in that Zoom room with me were, my mum's age or a bit older than me or whatever. And it was really refreshing to be in a room full of other people with lived experience that didn't look at me and go, oh, well, you're young, what lived experience do you have? So it was like really transformative to be in a room of people who understood that your lived experience isn't based off your age.
I felt really comfortable with it, actually. Like the Roses in the Ocean team and the support staff on the side were there to catch us if we fell, and if we needed support, we could always turn to them. But I actually really liked being in my own space, having my own independence. During the breaks, I'm able to take some time to myself outside in the garden as opposed to just kind of having conversations with people nonstop. And so it actually really helped to break up the experience for me, and I really liked it.
If you think it's for you, it's for you. If you're not sure it's for you, only way to find out, give it a go. You are not going to lose anything by trying.
Oh, absolutely, go for it. It's about education, it's about connection, it's about collaboration, and contribution as well. So, yeah, I think the more workshops you attend, the better, because you start to get um, a good feel about maybe the path that you want to go down, um, and go from there.
I would say go for it because the information is valuable, the experience is extraordinary.
If you're feeling that you're ready to be involved, you're invited to connect, because it's just such a fantastic workshop. And there's no pressure. Give what you can, take what you need, leave what you don't.
I would say be scared, but be excited because you're probably going to never be the same afterwards. And I mean that in the best sense. You'll walk into that room and yeah, you'll exit as someone completely new. And that's something that you should be excited for because I've yet to see since my workshop, I've yet to see any training or any workshops, any content even be delivered in the same manner as Roses has delivered it. So yeah, I'm really amazed.
If you were thinking about doing it, you're thinking about doing it for a reason, and just do it. You know, if you're worried about it, you don't have to do any part of it you don't want to do. No one's forcing you in uncomfortable situations. Like, everything's in your control. And the worst case scenario, even if you like struggle to learn what's being taught, worst case scenario is you're going to come out with a whole bunch of like friends who did the training with you and a community. So even if you paid no attention to the entire thing, you would still come out winning. So just do it.
I'm looking at setting up a network, or at least putting together the network of all the organizations in my area, so that people aren't like me and lost in the wilderness as to what's available in my region.
I'm now hoping to do some voluntary work in the peer support space and help other members in the community who are going through a bereavement or have an experience that they need some support with.
Well, I think from the workshop, I've always been interested in lived experience, but it really did light a fire in me of a passion. I went on to co-chair the lived experience advisory group for the suicide prevention lived experience advisory group, yeah, with the Queensland Mental Health Commission.